to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Just another Money Monday or Monday Money edition of the Talking Real Money podcast. And our new thing on Mondays for at least a few weeks until we run out is focusing on going back to the basics. Because I've always believed, and I think Tom too, that money is really way too simple to be so bloody complicated, or at least to seem so complicated. And that's why 16 years ago now, I wrote a little tiny thin book. You can read in one sitting, called Financial Physics, the basic laws of investing, the basics of it. It's not complicated. It's a few pages per chapter. So what we're doing every Monday for the next several weeks is we're going to focus on one aspect of financial physics, one of the immutable laws or theories of financial physics with an F, Fysics, available on Amazon in a Kindle or a regular
more than
version.
that. I remember last time I said if anybody wrote me, I'd send them a free copy. You updated this a few years ago. What was it, like 3 or 4 years?
22.
Was up? Yeah. Okay. So. Okay.
Well, then I kind of updated it again recently, just a little.
Yeah. Okay. But if you want a free copy of the actual book,
you mean the
paperback?
The paperback?
Nice. Yes. If you go to talkingrealmoney.com and click on Meet an Advisor, whatever it is.
Ask a question.
Ask a question.
Sure.
Either one. And just say Tom said he'd send me a book. I sent out a couple.
You have to put your address in there.
By the way, they may take a while to get there because I sent them from Italy. So they tell me the mail from there is kind of slow, but they're coming. So if all kidding aside,
yeah, and for those of you who haven't been listening for a while, Tom is now back. He was here, but he wasn't because we pre-recorded a whole bunch of shows.
People are it's so funny because I wrote, as you know, because you said it yourself. I'm lousy on vacation. I'm usually
you don't do vacation well.
Yeah,
you do lots of them. So I think you're thinking that quantity makes up for quality?
They're great vacations. But yeah, first of all, the girls always sleep like 10 hours a night. You know, I sleep like 6.5. So I got to fill that time. So I was emailing. People are very apologetic. Well, aren't you on vacation? Yes, but if I'm writing you, it's okay. That was a decision I made. And they're like, well, I'll talk to you and get back.
Don't feel guilty. This is what Tom has a streak of masochism.
So, but anyway, if you want a free copy of the book of Financial Physics, go to the website.
Limit the number you're going to send out?
I've got them right here in that or burn them to stay warm this winter.
Run
it's
out
up
of
to
them?
you. Then I'll print more.
How's your oversupply of the Line Uncrossed books that you ordered?
I've been giving those out. I'm down to like 5.
Wow.
And by the way, we have a client thing coming up in a few weeks, so I'll give a few out there too. So.
Okay. He's just
in fact, I might order. Actually, now that I think about it, I might order another 10 to do.
He's like a 2-book library.
No, I just read a recent book on.
No, I mean that you're giving away.
Okay, and another one on 1942. Yeah. Anyway, we digress as we sometimes do.
Really?
I know.
No, I'm talking real money digression.
No. So this is your book, so I'm going to ask the question.
Financial Physics. We're to rule number 2 now. We were at rule number 1. Just for a recap, what was rule number 1?
Don't repeat.
3 ways to make money. 3 ways to make money.
Luck, right? Wasn't it
luck?
Luck,
work,
looks,
and illegality, cheating.
I was kidding about the looks thing. But this one's supply and demand. This is kind of an interesting topic because when I was on vacation, using air quotes, I did watch stuff I don't normally watch because I don't really have time to do it. But there was one piece from Michael Lewis, who's written a lot of great books. There was an edited piece from 60 Minutes. And on the edited piece, Michael Lewis says, the stock market's rigged. Yeah, rigged to get, you can't, it makes it sound like you shouldn't invest in stocks. No, if you're a trader, you shouldn't. And this is what this chapter means. It gets to it.
Rule number 2, supply and demand, is really a rule that applies more to the short run.
Exactly.
Rather than long-term investing. Because the wonderful thing about long-term investing, and let's focus on stocks. Let's just keep that our focus right now. The wonderful thing about long-term investing is that supply and demand matters less than the ability of the company to become more valuable in the eyes of investors. Over time, that drives gains probably to a higher extent than rising demand.
Exactly. Yeah. No, and that's something you need to know, but I don't know that it really should change the way you invest. Again, if you're a trader, then
Well,
you've
but the
got to pay
problem
attention to
is,
things.
look at that chapter very closely. At the very end of it,
I love these.
It's got all the crypto or all the bubbles over
love
time,
this. Yeah,
and
exactly.
so it says that while you may know the right way to invest, many, if not most of us, occasionally fail to practice the right way to invest, and we forget the lessons of supply and demand. When the supply is finite, when there is no increase in the number of whatever it might be, and there are more people who want whatever it might be, the price of whatever it might be goes higher.
And
More buyers.
That's pretty much, I think you used the term immutable. That's pretty much a fact. I mean, it really is, right? That's just demand. So, and I
It's a simple
I love
equation.
it.
And before the show, we were talking about your house, and you jokingly said, the value of my house hasn't gone up in 2 years.
Oh.
It's supposed to always go up. Well,
I know.
No, guess what? That means the supply is static, but demand is also static.
But you brought up an absolutely, I think, exclamation point example in the book, the dot-com bubble, 1997 through 2000. Mm-hmm. A fascinating time, right, where you had all these companies going public. I think Pets.com did go public, right? I believe.
Right. Oh, they did. Oh, so you mean the Puppet Master stock? Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, I mean, I had a neighbor who was a bellman at the Grand Floridian who made hundreds of thousands of dollars on an AOL tip he got from some guy in the lobby,
But this was clearly a matter of supply and demand, and there was, because they're behind many of these stocks, not all of them, but many of them, was just the whole idea of that it should go up because of X. There was no earnings, certainly.
Well, and it's very similar to what we're seeing right now with artificial intelligence.
Exactly. That this has to mean X down the road. And that's something I think is very important. X plus Y does not always equal Z, especially in the short term.
Or 1 + 1 does not always equal 3. Wait, 2. Sorry.
Exactly. And remember, in the short term, which is you make a very good point, that we all said, well, no, I'm a long-term investor. I'm not a trader. I'm not a market timer. Everybody says that. Mm-hmm. But then when I get to meet with many of you, well, I'm not, but last summer I did X because it was so obvious.
The recent one is, but I did buy some SpaceX.
Yeah.
Because, come on. It's got nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
Well, they might go up. Working? They might go sideways. They might go down. And I'm talking about the rockets and the stock.
But here's the thing I think you need to remember. There's somewhere between 10 and 15 billion trades a day, stocks that trade. Stock trades, pardon me, a day. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. Mm-hmm. For those of you playing at home. And in a general sense, not in the short term necessarily, by the way, and I think Eugene Fama's already mentioned this, marketplaces are relatively efficient. There's inefficiencies. You can find them, and maybe people have found them this year with the semiconductor trade. I don't know. That has taken, I still can't believe it, Taiwan to the 33rd largest market cap-wise in the world. South Korea, number 6 in the world. I mean, these
chips,
right,
chips, and more
and
chips.
Not the ones you're going to eat. By the way, which I really missed in Europe because it's hard to find a decent potato chip.
By the way, just wonder, what was the daily trading number?
10 to 15 billion shares.
I just went back and I looked 100 years ago. If we go back 100 years,
and it was 10 to 15 shares a day.
No. It was about 250 million.
200 million 100 years ago.
100 years ago.
Wow, that sounds like a lot.
Wait. I'm sorry. No. That's over the year. I had my figures wrong. It's about 1 million. It was about 900,000 a day, 800 to 900,000 a day.
Still, even that sounds like a lot in 1925, whatever it is. But if you're really looking at all this, the thing I like about this chapter is the supply and demand aspect of all this. The impact on stocks primarily comes down, again, from the academics, economic data, interest rates, or corporate results. And it's always you should anticipate that it's something unexpected. How do you anticipate something that's unexpected? You can't.
You expect that there will be something unexpected.
Exactly.
You don't know what the unexpected will be, but you have to figure that into your return calculations and primarily your risk calculations.
And this is the part people forget, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
think about it for a minute.
Important.
We've had over the past 500 years that we can track several very large demand-driven bubbles. And in every single case, they could not be sustained because eventually the demand dries up. The last person jumps into the pool, splashing the water out. The greater you've run out of greater fools to whom to sell. I don't care what your metaphor is. There's something that causes these to fall apart, and so far, none of them have ever continued to infinity and beyond. You know, it's the latest Toy Story movie was out this summer.
I have not as yet seen it. I asked my grandsons last night. They're like, "Nah, I don't really want to." What? Anyway, I was shocked.
Okay, that tells you how old the actors are in it now.
Exactly. So again, thing that I think people need to remember is, yes, this is always in the background, but the reality has been being diversified into a lot of stocks, letting the economies grow, letting companies become more productive has been the way to invest rather than trying to figure out what might happen in the economy, whether it be supply or demand, whatever it is, that could drive prices in the short term.
And the trick is recognizing that it is bloated demand or reduced supply that is causing the short-term fluctuations, and don't play the game. Refuse to participate. You can refuse. You got to tamp down your greed, and that's really what drives it is greed.
Yeah.
FOMO. It's a silly acronym. Anyway, we
and
discovered
that is our
something,
reading from the Book of Dawn today.
From the Book of Dawn. We discovered something really interesting. A month or so ago, we noticed that the number of questions we were getting had dropped off dramatically. And we discovered all it takes is for Tom to go on vacation.
Unbelievable.
Really, the number of questions. If you've been listening to the Friday Q&A podcast, it's not just the written questions. We're now doing 8 or 9 questions.
Wow.
We were doing 4 or 5 a couple of months ago. Now we're doing 8 or 9 questions on a Friday. And Tom, how many questions do you have now? Like 45?
By the way, I have 40. Here's the thing
40.
That's fascinating. By the way, the art you did for one of them that showed me sitting there reading something, looking out over the water or whatever.
Oh, yeah, the Amalfi
literally have a
Coast
picture
look.
just like that. I was like, how the hell did he do that? I have a picture from the vacation that looks exactly like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I got to send it to. It was crazy. I was like, how did that?
That was my
scary.
Psychic art.
What
episode
watching.
was that?
Just
going now, people are going to go, well, what episode was that? Well, hold on.
It was one of the Q&A. It might have been last Friday's Q&A. So I don't know.
No. You're not on my Q&As.
No. But you said while Tom's on vacation, there's something that was the headline. I don't know, something like that. There was vacation was in there, and it showed somebody sitting there reading, and it was a shot from behind, looking out over their shoulder at the old European town on the right, and then I think the water in front of them. I was like, wow, that's really
what was the
scary.
one? Oh, did you see the one with you on the quiz show?
I did not see that.
Oh, that's the July 1 show with your head down on the desk.
I'll go back and look at that.
No, that's
well, while you're digging around on that, I'm going to ask the first question.
All right, you ask the first question.
This one comes from Portland, Oregon. Jason says, Tom and Don, I've been listening to you guys for some time now and love your show. So thank you for that, Jason. My question is around how to determine the opportunity cost of delaying Social Security and how it affects your break-even point. I'm married in my late 50s, plan on retiring soon, so I'm working through my financial plan. It's often recommended delaying Social Security until age 70 because it maximizes the benefit amount and provides a larger survivor benefit for a spouse. I'm going to stop you right there. That you can pretty much say is true.
Yeah, those are true things. Yeah,
they are. And if you're married, I think it always makes sense. But and there was just a senator who passed away recently who was not married, who passed away at 71. And I thought he's going to be looking for us because he's going to say, I only got my 1 year of Social Security. What's with you guys? But
he's not going to be looking for us. Trust me. Okay,
in the afterlife.
I'm really confident.
Jason continues. I understand that logic, but I'm wondering whether it applies equally to everyone. This is so important.
Oh, God.
No,
yes,
it does
everything
not.
is personal.
That's the thing. Every one of these is an individual case. Anyway, he says using a bucket strategy with short-term, mid-term, and long-term investment buckets, delaying Social Security in 70, you would need to fund your spending from ages 62 to 70 using assets from your short and mid-term buckets. I think that's pretty much true, by the way.
That's true.
Yeah.
If you retire early, yes.
Yeah. Once these are depleted, well, you and I, what's
Right.
early to you and I now? Once these are depleted, the next source of funding would ultimately be the long-term bucket. Now, here's a very important thing, Jason, because you say, which is likely invested in growth-oriented assets, which you would expect to be earning 10+% annually over the long term.
Ooh. Well, okay. Expecting? No. Hoping?
The average investor does not make 10+ a year. The market can return that over the long haul,
Yeah,
but that's
and not the average investor definitely doesn't do
No.
that. But this is.
Let me finish. Should the expected return of the long-term bucket be considered the opportunity cost of delaying Social Security? In other words, when comparing claiming at 62 versus 70, shouldn't the break-even analysis account for the foregone growth of the assets that must be withdrawn to bridge over those 8 years? In other words,
of course it should.
Away? Yeah, sure.
Of course it should. And here's the thing: if you're planning to retire at age 62, you really should have spent the 10 years prior to that creating a plan that saves you from those longer-term bucket touches.
Yeah, I think that's true, by the way. Yeah.
What we're saying is that, okay, best case, don't retire at 62. Wait until 70. You're going to have the most money. But if you must retire at 62, if you know you're going to retire at 62 and you'd like to delay Social Security, then you need to make sure you have a plan for shorter term assets to tide you over through that period to cover those.
So what you're really saying is the short and intermediate term buckets need to be of a size to cover the 8 years.
Right. If not, then take Social Security earlier, maybe.
Yeah. I think
it is a
advice.
personal thing.
That's the point that I think needs to be recognized. There isn't
here's
one right
our
or wrong
problem.
for everybody.
Yeah. Here's the problem with doing a podcast with 2.2 million downloads a year. That means tens of thousands of people are listening. Every one of those tens of thousands of people is slightly different, yet we have to provide advice for the greater number of them. And for the greatest number of everyone listening, the best advice is to wait as long as you are able to collect Social Security because your income, your check rises by 8% every year, plus inflation.
And don't die and be mad at us and haunt us.
Well, that's
if it doesn't work out.
Like any insurance or annuity, which Social Security is, by the way, it's an annuity.
It is.
When there's a downside risk. There's an upside, there's a downside. Yep, if you wait until 70 and you die at 71, you lost your bet.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you live until 101, whoa, did you win?
Yeah. And if you're married and the other party lives to 101,
and the fact of the matter is your spouse, if you're a man,
my wife
the
not
same
only
age.
yours. She can be collecting into whatever time.
Well, she's going to collect way past your passing.
That's true. Which doesn't bother her, by the way. All right,
Not
Florida.
a bit. She's got other guys lined up.
Big Jim. Right. This is from Big Jim in Florida.
Big Jim. Well, everybody knows Big Jim.
We're going to answer his question.
Yeah, heck
Howdy,
yeah. I don't want
gentlemen.
to mess with Big Jim.
Love the show. Thanks for the infotainment. I love reading old, out-of-date personal finance and investment books from the past decades. I'm going to stop you right there. You must have a lot of extra time on your Sorry. Okay, you're gonna love Don's book then. No, I'm kidding. Sometimes the ideas in them are timeless and universal, but sometimes it makes me laugh how bad the advice given can be. One of my favorites is, you're gonna just love this, Don.
Oh God, what is it?
Wealth Without Risk by Charles
Charles
Givens.
J. Givens.
Yeah.
But he used to be on the Business Radio Network.
He also used to be in prison. I think he ended up in prison eventually for financial malfeasance, didn't he?
Yes,
that's
he did.
correct. I think he died. I want to say he died in prison.
He died in prison. Yes, he did.
Always a funny topic that comes up in old books is forming investment clubs with friends. Mm-hmm. When one of your recent episodes talked about the regulations and such related to your industry, it made me think about the investment clubs because many of them are informal and unregulated. Yes, I think that's true. I'm surprised at the charlatans on TikTok and MySpace these days that people aren't pitched these things from the past. He goes on and on. He says, I guess these vehicles used to exist when people had to purchase around lots of shares and pool their money. That was one reason. But the other one was because the collective genius of all these people is going to do better than the market.
Well, okay. Originally, I think it was for a social thing.
They get together rather than the bridge club.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you guys have any funny or tragic stories about people joining investment clubs? Maybe I'll start one myself to get the ball rolling again. They're still out there.
Oh, they're still out there.
Sure.
They're still out there.
You don't hear as much about them.
And by the way, there are cases. There are lots of cases of investment clubs scamming people.
Yeah,
they're just not big enough stories because the scams usually run into the tens of thousands of dollars, which don't get news coverage. But there are flat-out Ponzi scheme investment clubs, or there have been. There's a lot of affinity fraud. In social groups and things. There are some investing clubs that are really just multi-level marketing.
And wasn't there the one back east where they said our return was 20-something%, and then somebody looked into it and found that it was like 2.1%?
Yeah, that's probably one of the Ponzi schemes.
Might have been. And there's no reason to expect outperformance from a group of people that are picking stocks. In fact, anything, I'd say it's the opposite is probably true. But so no, I don't really have any funny. Don just mentioned a few tragic stories, but to get educated about money and investing, that would not be the place I would go. I'll put it that way. Is that fair?
No. It's maybe it's a social thing, but it's a social thing that encourages bad investing behavior. So I think the use of the term investment club is a misnomer because they're really just stock gambling clubs.
And I know we've picked on AARP. I have not AARP.
AAII?
AAII. Because
the American Association of Individual Investors.
Yeah, and here's
Phoenix,
why.
Arizona.
I know Paul Merriman does a lot of work with them. He gets mad at me when I do this. But in a general sense, if you go to those meetings every month, it's the idea du jour. It's the guy who's written the new book. Here's what you have to have in your portfolio today. I do not like that.
Well, and AAII basically sells their own newsletter. That's the hot stock newsletter.
Good point.
No, it's not even a fun thing to do necessarily. I would rather.
We've been there.
We've spoken. No, I mean just investment clubs.
Oh, I see.
Investment clubs. Yeah. If you want to get together with a bunch of people, join a social service club or something. Then you pool some money and you go help people instead of trying to get rich, which you're not likely to do.
Yeah. All right. Got time to squeeze in one more?
We decide how long the shows are.
Well, that's why I'm looking to you for a little leadership.
I'm looking
here.
at the time, and look at that. We're under 30 minutes.
Who knew? Okay, from Farmington Hills, Michigan, Scott writes us, Tom, I don't know why I ignored you here. When I retire, I want to roll over my funds.
I'm not upset. I'm okay.
My 401k plan to my individual Roth IRA and traditional IRA. According to Grok, 401k plans have the tightest protection from personal liability lawsuits.
Yes, that's true.
Because they are ERISA
Under
plans,
ERISA.
and they IRAs and Roths are not. That is correct.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
Michigan, where I live, seems to protect the individual IRA and Roth IRAs as well, which is true in the great state of Washington. I don't think you can I think they're fairly judgment proof. I don't think you can go get your money on somebody's retirement plan in Washington State. I know every state's a little different. I know that you guys are not lawyers or give legal advice. Oh, sure, we give legal advice all the time. just not good legal advice.
Not
but
real legal advice. It's not real.
Exactly. Worth every nickel.
Don't listen to him. God, you freak out compliance every time you say stuff like that.
I can't wait for that one. But you might have come across this before with your clients. Based on a past podcast, a bad podcast, Don would recommend an umbrella policy as an option. That can be expensive yearly expense. Not really. Umbrella policies are pretty inexpensive.
They're actually pretty cheap.
I've had. I realize the risk is low to worry about this, but wanted to protect myself against the stupid. Longtime listener, listen to you guys talk about past, blah, blah, blah. Please don't mention my last name. I'm not going to mention it. We don't mention last names. The question is then at hand, will a umbrella policy protect your retirement assets?
Yeah.
Because if you have a $5 million and somebody slips and falls on your, deck, then that would write the check. Sure. And again, they're pretty inexpensive generally.
Well, okay. Again, this is a human foible. We worry about everything. And the problem is we overweight things we probably shouldn't be worrying about. Ooh, what if I get sued for somebody slipping on my sidewalk? Do you know how rarely that actually happens to individuals? It's pretty rare. And that's why umbrella policies are relatively inexpensive. But if you're in a state where your IRA and your 401k is protected, then you don't, and those are all of your assets, or the bulk of them, then you need a much smaller umbrella policy. But you insure against risk that you worry about, that you truly are concerned about. And if liability risk is a concern, then you need a liability policy of some kind that protects the assets that you have. You don't want to exceed those assets necessarily, but protect them, sure.
We had a gathering recently, and there were a number of attorneys there, and there was kids going by in their boat, and they yelled up, "Hey, can we go up and slide down your slide into the water?" I live on a small boat.
Gosh, you're
and
legal.
They were going, "You understand the line?" I was like, let them go on the slide. It's okay. So they went on the slide, and no head damage or brain damage at this point.
Yeah, but again, we worry about everything. But I have said for many, many years, since my days as a regular talk show host, before I was a money talk show host.
Now you're an irregular host?
Yeah. If you really, we sit around, we worry about all these horrible things that could happen, and yet every single day, most of us get in to a multi-1,000-pound gasoline-propelled or electrically propelled a bomb.
Yeah.
And drive it down the road where other idiots are pointing their bomb mobiles at us. And
but both of us have had tragedies in our families around this.
So, what is the most likely thing that happens? We don't protect against that. We don't. You still go out and drive.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
But that's one of the places where you're most likely.
You are the only guy I know who can go to work really just by going upstairs.
I love it too. I love it. I mean, it was so funny. Debbie went off and played bridge the other day here in our bubble celebration, and she was back like 2 minutes after they finished playing. And I said, "Isn't it nice that we don't have to go more than 5 minutes away to do stuff?"
Yeah, right.
We don't.
One of the downsides of where I live, you have to drive 30 minutes to
Oh, you're out in the middle of flipping nowhere.
It's true. That works both ways, though, by the way, because it's quiet.
Does it?
One of the things in Europe that I forget every time I go to a place like Rome or Athens, there's a lot of people there. You're wandering around like, can't wait to be by my little lake with no sound other than a bird going by. It was
well, okay, that's a pretty big bird. That's an eagle.
That's true.
That's an eagle.
Anyway. That fact is, I would get the umbrella policy because I don't find them to be expensive. But if you do, then don't get it and hope that your protections from the state take care of your money when a tragedy befalls you, is the way I'd put it.
Okay, I'm just checking the prices of umbrellas. The typical, depending on where you are and what your risk profile is, because it really does, it depends on what cars you own, like if you have a trampoline in the backyard, or boats, or RVs, or a pit bull, or whatever it might be.
Or
so remember, if you have a pit bull and live by a lake with a very attractive slide, you're going to be at the high end of this range. But generally speaking, $1 million of umbrella coverage costs between $100,500 a year and $400 a year.
Yeah, which I don't find to be a lot, but you might.
That's not a lot.
So if it's $200, you might say, I'm not going to pay $200. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, they factor in your credit history, whether you're married or not.
Yeah. So my rate goes up or down based on the marriage.
You are way at the top.
Way off the charts for a lot
and you have a giant black dog.
That's true.
That while he's a gentle giant, will scare the crap out of someone.
He does do that. Yeah.
Let's see. You have a body of water immediately adjacent. You have a deck with multiple levels. It rains and snows there.
Not looking too good insurance.
You've got gigantic trees that occasionally fall down. Let's see. Oh, yeah, you got boats. You have a hot tub. That's
true. I have a hot tub too.
What other? How many cars do you have? You have 3 cars.
Yeah.
You have a teenage daughter.
She's
you're
leaving,
just
though.
Totally. Yeah. No, she's still going to be on your policies.
Good point. All right, you're making me feel bad now.
Yours is going to cost a lot more than mine.
True.
All right, you want to do the ending?
No, you do the ending, but I want to say
you don't remember. You forgot what to ask, didn't you? You forgot what to tell people to do at the end of the show, didn't you? You've been gone so long.
My head's been baked by this high temperatures.
There was one of the pictures you sent us that Debbie went, God, is he that sunburned?
It was really hot. It was.
You remember you're a very white man. Very white man.
Not anymore.
Oh! I found the episode. You're right. It was the Q&A episode.
Thought it was. It's just remarkable, though. We had the exact same picture from the trip. When I saw it,
the most recent one.
That's kind of scary.
The July 10th episode called Question Onslaught.
There you go. Yeah. And isn't it shot over somebody's shoulder? And you can see the back
shot over a fake Tom shoulder. Yeah. I had AI make it. It took me about 10 iterations of this.
It's pretty accurate.
Originally, you look like John Slattery.
I'm okay with that.
And I went, no, that's not it. And then he started to look a little bit more like Paul Merriman from behind.
Okay, I'm okay with that too.
Okay, and then I went, I sent the.
What did you now? This is going to hurt my feelings, right?
It's not.
I can feel it.
It's funny. I sent. Because it was the John Slattery version of you. It was very thin.
I like John.
It was
Slattery.
very thin.
So
I sent in our show cover logo.
Yeah,
and I said,
"This fat guy Slattery now."
I said, make him a little chunkier. Well, ChatGPT misinterpreted that as make the cover photo chunkier.
Oh, this is bad.
And it created this gigantic Tom.
This must have been after the trip, after the pasta and the pizza and all the desserts.
I'm telling you, when it came back to me,
what?
I almost fell out of my chair. I was laughing so hard. If you're in a good mood, I'll send it to you.
No, do not send that to me because I did a pre-trip weigh-in and I haven't done the post weigh-in yet. I got to wait to see what that's going to look like.
If you look at this, you'll go, well, thank God I didn't go that far.
I went out there, but not.
But it was shocking. It took our cover art and it turns you into giant.
Let's just leave it at that. What do you say? So, however you end this thing, I appreciate it if you go ahead.
Now I'm thinking that I have to put it on the podcast.
Well, I did a lot of thinking on the trip too about how much longer I want to do the podcast. So
are you done?
He's done. There, then that might be it. So, see you later. Good luck.
All right, I better not put it up. But it was very fun. If you hadn't gotten back from a pasta eating extravaganza.
No, not to mention the pizza, dessert every night, etc., and breakfast every day in the hotels with the buffet. So I didn't.
Speaking of which, when I went away for a few days for my birthday to a resort, the Disney place, I came back. I was like 6 pounds heavier.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure I'm there.
So. I went, geez, I got to stay home. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Send in those questions. Keep them coming at TalkingRealMoney.com on the Ask a Question form if you want to meet with one of our lovely fiduciary advisors for a few minutes for free. For free. For nothing. No obligation. No high-pressure sales pitch. Just click the button that says meet an advisor. God, I'm as bad as Tom now.
Thank you.
And don't forget to tell people to join you and everybody else you know every day or every weekday listening to Talking Real Money.
The opinions and views expressed in this podcast were current on the date recorded.
Right.
Opinions,
Stop it.
estimates, forecasts, and statements of financial market trends that are based on current market conditions constitute our judgment and are subject to change without notice, including any forward-looking estimates or statements which are based on certain expectations and assumptions.
Although information and opinions given have been obtained from or based on sources believed to be reliable, no warranty or representation is made as to their correctness, completeness, or accuracy.
Information presented on the podcast is not personalized investment advice from Appella Wealth. The views and strategies described may not be suitable for everyone. This podcast does not identify all the risks, direct or indirect, or other considerations which might be material to you when entering any financial transaction. Past performance does not guarantee future results, and profitable results cannot be guaranteed. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. The podcast is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Appella Wealth, a fee-only registered investment advisor.
Please see Appella Wealth's ADV Part 2A on our website for information regarding Appella's fees and services.
Appella Capital, LLC, DBA Appella Wealth, is an investment advisory firm registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The firm only transacts business in the states where it is properly registered or excluded or exempt from registration requirements. Registration with the SEC or any state securities authority does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Appella does not provide tax or legal advice, and nothing either stated or implied here should be inferred as providing such advice. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and important disclosure related to performance of any specific index or fund quoted in this podcast. I think I need a nap.